You know, if you've got peeling deck paint, peeling bare deck over, a disintegrating flaking stain, deck stain, if you got deck leprosy, that's what we call it here at Kong Armor. You don't have to live that way. And you don't have to spend your life savings, take out a second mortgage on your house, any of this type of stuff to get your deck back to beautiful and protected. You don't have to go run and tear it down the frame and go buy composite and all this. It's unnecessary. Let me tell you, I'm up here in Westchester Township, just north of Cincinnati, and this deck here behind me, let's look at it. Just 48 hours ago, it was inundated with peeling deck paint everywhere. And it was super, super bad. Not sure exactly what was on here. It may have been just some type of cheap, thin residential deck paint, is what it looked like to us. But it just had zero adhesion. And when you guys try to protect your decks here in the Cincinnati area with thin residential deck paints and stains, that peeling and that flaking stain and that type of stuff is always going to be the end result. The reason why is because they're not thick enough to put up with the sun's UV rays here. Here in Cincinnati, for a couple months out of the year, June, July, August, we get UV ray inundation that's very, very similar to the Sonoran Desert out in California. I mean, just look at this deck right now. It is getting beat down by UV rays. They come directly down, okay? They fall directly down, and they actually have the power to penetrate all the way through thin residential deck paints and stains into the adhesion layer, into the wood below, and it obliterates that adhesion. You guys add on to the fact that they're not rated for foot traffic. Thin residential deck paints and stains, they're not rated to take on foot traffic. You add that fact on top of it, and then you're always going to come back to a peeling, flaking disaster. The answer is Kong Armor. Lifetime deck armor, industrial grade, high build, thick build, the world's toughest deck coating. Guess what it can do? Well, let's talk about it for a second. Number one, it can lock down and encapsulate peeling deck paints without the need for sanding, no chemical peeling, none of that stuff. Its exact design, as a matter of fact, it was designed to answer the peeling bare deck over problem, right? So it can easily encapsulate your deck's peeling paint, just like it did this one here. And then here's the thing, Kong, it locks it all down for life. Now, Kong, 30 to 60 times thicker than thin residential deck paints and stains. Here's the kicker. It's got 95% UV ray deflection capabilities, what we call UV block. So those rays, they don't damage it nowhere nearly as bad as the thin residential deck paints and stains. It blocks about 95% of them. The few that do get through, Kong's such a thick and high build film that the rays cannot penetrate all the way through it to get to that adhesion layer and cause that degradation that causes peeling, right? What else? Rated for foot traffic. So Kong, we've designed it for the American family. We know that the American family is rough, tough on their decks. They use them, right? Grill outs, barbecues, get-togethers. People have weddings on decks. People have parties on decks, right? The coating system has to be able to take on foot traffic, and Kong does that no problem. What else does Kong provide? Something we call true water lock, okay? So if we look at all the fasteners now on this deck system, if we look, you can't see any fasteners anywhere. You can't see the nail and screw holes that you would see in a traditional deck that thin residential deck paints and stains would leave open. They're about right here. But with Kong Armor, they're covered over. Why is that important? Well, 90% of you guys here in Cincinnati, Southeast Indiana, Northern Kentucky, you guys have steel fasteners. The water inundates your deck through those little holes and the cracks in your boards, hairline cracks, cracks in your boards. It gets into your deck and it causes those steel fasteners to rust. And you guys all have this new woke lumber now. That rust causes a reaction in that woke lumber. And what it does is it causes board rot. So if you guys walk outside and look at your decks right now, all of you here in Cincinnati that have board rot, go look at where that rot's at. It's right around your nails and screws. Not lying to you, right? Kong arrests that. It arrests that by what we call thick build, high build. It covers that over, encapsulation. The water can't get in there anymore to do that. That also delivers other benefits that are immense. If water can't get in, then it slows down the expansion and contraction of your deck's wood, right? And the slowing down of that expansion and contraction dramatically increases its life. Dramatically. I'm going to take you and show you the outside of this. Really, really beautiful. Kong, it's got something we call splinter lock technology. All the old splinters, frayed wood, all that stuff that was on this deck, it's all encapsulated and locked down now where you can touch it. Look at the bolts. The bolts are covered over. Everything's covered over. You can run your hands on it. It feels smooth. You don't have to worry about your babies getting a splinter if they come out and play with it. Splinter lock technology. And what else does it have? Well, it's got tough film technology. It's rated to take on wind-driven rain, sleet, ice, hail, up to hurricane wind speeds and beyond, right? We're talking about the world's toughest deck armor. Now, when we look over here, the cool thing about Kong is that it only comes via professional application, via its very own deck rescue painters. So not only do we encapsulate your peeling deck paint, we also come in beforehand and we can restore your deck. We can swap out its bad and rotten boards. For these deck owners right here, we built them a new pair of steps. So they got a brand new pair of steps here now that they didn't have before, right? Right here's the plaque, the service plaque. Boom, Kong armor, protected by Kong armor. Our website, our phone number, our logo, all that stuff, right? Just look how gorgeous. The truth is, you don't have to, oh cool, the sun stopped for just a second. Going right back now. The truth is, you don't have to live with peeling deck paint. And you don't have to live like that. Why is this plaque here? You seen that plaque I just showed you? It's there because Kong armor's lifetime deck armor. What's that mean? It means this owner, this deck owner now that their peeling deck paint's encapsulated, their deck's been completely restored, locked down in the world's toughest deck armor, and never have to do full deck repaints again. Kong armor, we have a local dealership here in the Northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, full of deck restoration painters and deck rescue painters. We stay with our system owners for life. Support, service, and warranty for life of ownership. Anytime this owner has any problem out of this system, out of this coating system, they can get local help from the local dealership. We'll get a deck restoration painter, deck rescue painter out here within a day. Get them help. Get them whatever they need. Also gives the owner access to annual washings, little touch-ups for stuff that doesn't get covered under warranty, right? Like if you drag a TV up the steps or something like that and chip up the wood and chip up the coating, right? Or forbid a tornado comes through here and tears everything up, right? They have that service promise for life. Toughest deck armor in the world, paired with local support, service, and warranty for life. It means you'll never have to completely repaint your deck again, ever. Tell you what, if you're interested, you want to know more about Kong armor, we suggest you follow us on social medias, Facebook, YouTube, that type of stuff. Learn about us, learn who we are, learn what we do, learn about our coating system. But if you want to jump straight to the point, you can schedule a free quotation at kongarmor.com. You can also learn more about us there too as well. From Westchester Township, I'm Anthony Ford.